Good afternoon, everyone, with a show called Art and Culture Show. This show is going to focus on arts and culture, as we believe arts and culture is the backbone of the nation. Uh, Everyone has values, beliefs, and these beliefs has been embedded into a culture, and culture reflects from an art. So, if we want to develop a nation, we have to focus on art and culture. That's why we are going to start this program on weekly basis, and we will invite the people who are artistic, cultured. They don't necessarily be into an artist or a film actor or a writer or a poem, but they will be the people who have a great love and they have artistic nature and belief and a sense, high profound sense of artism in their nature. So this is very, very important that we understand that the people and appreciate who are contributing to a positive culture and art. So art is not only a poem or a book. It is a composition of so many facets. Like, so it started from a written expression like a writer, literature, then it has take some shapes of performing art like dance, the advanced version of the performing art is films, dramas, which we see on television channels every day, and of course the photography and painting, archaeology. These all are also part of who comes in the field of arts and culture. So I'm really excited, and I believe that focusing on arts and culture, especially in terms of women, how they think, what are their feelings, and giving them a platform where they can express their feelings that they have. They have emotions which they want to bring out to the world, and how they think, how they feel, how they want to relate their sense of feelings with the external world. It is really, really important that we give them a platform where they can express it with a global audience. So, what we did is there are three big languages in the world, obviously, English, Hindi, and Urdu. There are billion of people speaking this. And of course, Arabic that is concentrated in Middle East, starting from Saudi Arabia to Lebanon, and in certain other countries like Africa, Arabic language is a major language. So we invite our um, guests from different languages so the global audience can enlighten themselves with the feelings that they have in their minds, and they can empower and create a positive impact for the global audience. So let me introduce you with the guest for today. So I would like to invite Asma John Muhammad. She is live with us from Dubai, and she's a very dynamic profile, and it's really you find such kind of uh, woman who has a great, deep, passionate love for arts and culture, and not only in thoughts but as a practically demonstrated. You can see her in different forums. You can see her into magazines who are promoting art, culture, and her country. So I feel blessed and honored that she has joined us today, and I'm going to have a lot of insights. But before I take a formal introduction, I will introduce you with the second guest of the day. So we have Salma Al Khubaisi. She's from Abu Dhabi, local Emirati woman. She is a symbol of change. And why I say a symbol of change, because when she was she got a she studied IT, information technology. She became a technologist. She's working for the government organization, one of the largest, and same time she has a great passion for arts and culture. So she's supporting artists. You can see in her clothes, vicinity, a different kind of arts and culture. And the good thing about her is she's very passionate about art, and we can see her that um, she has feelings, who is really dynamic, and she connects the world with her introvert and abilities. And you will see today that her selection of words would be really inspiring. So Salva, can we see her on the screen? That's great. So now we have two guests. So I will first move towards the first guest, Asma. Asma, what are your thoughts of the week that you want to share with our audience?
Thank you very much for the invitation, Dr. Musa. It's a pleasure to be on board of such an inspiring program, and I congratulate you for taking such an initiative. Weekend thoughts, as I normally opt the the direction of writing in terms of expressing my thoughts about art. Um there was a topic that I selected last week, which was about optimism bias. So, optimism, as we know, is a positive trait, but sometimes we are too much into it and we don't realistically realize what are the ups and downs of taking a decision or taking a certain course of direction in life. So I wrote about optimism bias, and then some of the readers got back to me asking, "What about the contrary side? So how do you think about having pessimism bias?" Now, pessimism bias, being an accountant and being very much in the field of finance for about more than 20 years. Normally, we don't really we tend to be prudent, and we don't really go in the direction of too much of optimism. So pessimism is something that I personally don't really dislike. So I gave it a thought, and I came to an opinion that pessimism, if employed in moderate quantities, actually plays positive part. So my this weekend, my article was about positive pessimism, which is you keep your optimism in check. uh, you tend to be more realistic. You assess the risk, but not just assessing the risk and just thinking about what can go wrong. You can actually devise strategies to cope with those risks, to mitigate those risks. So the bottom line was, neither the optimism in great quantities is good, nor the pessimism. But yes, we need to be we need to be keeping a balance, and we need to be following a middle route, which is called realism. Being realistic about anything is very important, and it can help keep a check on your disappointments, and it can also strengthen your confidence that you are prepared in case something goes terribly wrong.
That's amazingly interesting. And let's invite Salma. Salma, can you please share your thoughts of the week? We heard the Asma thoughts. They are very impressive and very unique, And we know that life can be very, very challenging sometimes. We all have work pressure, we have family pressures, we have our internal thoughts. We want to reach to such a certain level, but there are some barriers which sometimes we are unable to cross, and we have some kind of stagnation, or we feel that we are restricted. Sometimes people are creating a negative scenario around us. So one day we wake up with very bad thoughts. We feel that the day is extremely not good, and other way around, we some days we feel that the weather is really good and our environment is really nice. Human nature has very very fast. So, what you think? What your thought?
Thank you, Dr. Musa. I'm so excited to be part of this show. Thoughts of the week, like admin and can you hear me? Yeah, Dr. Musa, you're talking?
Yeah. So there is a echo where
Yeah,
maybe
I don't know.
you are having a YouTube. If you can close your YouTube.
No,
I
no,
know this is StreamYard, so it's fine. I mean, if you have open any browser which has YouTube working, maybe that's the
no,
problem.
no. Is it
Yeah,
clear
that's
now?
yeah. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
So I was, I had the last week a trip, and it was really inspiring to visit. I was in UK, in fact. It was a technology week in London. I really got inspired by all the crowd and the presentation held there. My thoughts actually, this week is the graduation week, final year of the high school, and receiving messages from everyone about their kids' graduation, and I'm very happy about this. And I motivate the children or youngsters to be successful. And I always tell them you have to be successful because you are willing to do things you are not, you cannot, which you cannot, and you will fight against all the odds. You will sacrifice. Don't shaken by fear or insecurities or doubts. Those emotion, I always tell people, the kids, uh, take them, feel them, but don't drink them inside and then swallow them away to the back ends of to hell and so on. So I always motivate the youngsters because I'm going to universities and schools to give motivation for them to kill the fears of the future. Today also I visited a couple of universities in the morning, and I really like the children, or I mean the graduates visiting open days for college registration, and alhamdulillah there was good a crowd of young people happy to come to the new college field, and I really encourage them these days. And I'm ready today for this talk. Really happy to be with you guys.
That's amazing. I guess here I want to comment and that when we were in the same stage, we were crossing from school to university. It was a very exciting phase of our life. We feel that when we will go in university, life will change. We will get better friends, and it will be amazing, beautiful, and atmosphere will be very lovely. And it was actually, it was. I mean, as if you, if I want to recall my university life, so I feel that the university life was the most sweetest. Maybe we have a school life, we have a college life, but we have a university life. And because I was from a boys' school, so the first time we saw girls around us, and we were having some artistic nature, so it was a very, very lovely feelings together, which goes with whole the life with us. So, and you rightly said that all the mothers like you who are training their kids for a better future, spending time and having a graduation feeling. So it's an achievement for you also, and obviously it's an achievement for them as well. And so these are lovely thoughts. And with this, we will move to Asma and ask to share her artist choice today for our program. Asma, your mic is mute if you can unmute this.
Thank you once again. So, apart from, besides performing arts, I think the most influential and most impactful form of art is poetry. Poetry is a great form of expression, and today I have selected Faiz Ahmed Faiz. He is one of the most celebrated Urdu writers and is recognized the most powerful poetic voice in South Asia. Um, Early poems of Fez were conventional. They were based on simple topics of love and beauty. But the most admiring part later on developed when he had an interest in politics and he expressed poetry that brought forward change for the betterment of society. He often used to say, purify your hearts so you can save your country. We can very clearly see the element of hope in many of his verses, like दिल ना उम्मीद तो नहीं नाकाम ही तो है दिल ना उम्मीद तो नहीं नाकाम ही तो है लंबी है गम की शाम मगर शाम ही तो है. I have selected some of the other verses which basically I like very much, such as नहीं निगाह में मंजिल तो जुस्तजू ही सही नहीं निगाह में मंजिल तो जुस्तजू ही सही नहीं विसाल मयस्सर तो आरज़ू ही सही. I will now go on to share one of the poems that I like very much. Um, हम सादा ही ऐसे थे कि यूं ही पजीर आई हम सादा ही ऐसे थे कि यूं ही पजीर आई जिस बार खिजा आई समझे के बाहर आई आशोब नज़र से की हमने चमन आराई आशोब नज़र से की हमने चमन आराई जो शय भी नज़र आई गुल रंग नज़र आई उम्मीद तलत्तुफ़ में रंजीदा रहे दोनों उम्मीद तलत्तुफ़ में रंजीदा रहे दोनों तू और तेरी महफ़िल मैं और मेरी तन्हाई यकजान ना हो सकिए अनजान न बन सकिए यूं टूट गई दिल में शमशीर शनासाई इस तन की तरफ देखो जो कत्ल गहे दिल है इस तन की तरफ देखो जो कत्ल गहे दिल है क्या रखा है मक्तल में ए चश्मे तमाशाई. Selecting best verses from Faiz is a very tough task because each ghazal, each verse, each poetic phrase is having an immense oceanic depth in it. As we can see in this, न गवाओ नाव के नीम कश दिल रेजा रेजा गवा दिया जो बचे हैं संग समेट लो तने दाग दाग लुटा दिया मेरे चार अगर को नवीद हो सफ़े दुश्मना को खबर करो वो जो कर्ज रखते थे जान पर वो हिसाब आज चुका दिया करो कच जबी पे सर कफन मेरे कातिलों को गुमा ना हो कि गुरूर इश्क का बांकपन पसे मर्ग हमने खुला दिया इधर एक हर्फ की कुश्तनी यहाँ लाख उज्र था गुफ्तनी जो कहा तो सुन के उड़ा दिया जो लिखा तो पढ़ के मिटा दिया. And the last verse, which is one of my favorites. जो रुके तो कोहे गिरा थे हम जो रुके तो कोहे गिरा थे हम जो चले तो जहाँ से गुजर गए रहे यार हमने कदम कदम तुझे यादगार बना दिया. I would also like to share one English translation because we have on board our Emirati guest as well. So I would like to share the English translation of this poem. This is called Hum Dekhenge, and it is also called Wayakba Wajho Ribbik. My apologies for the pronunciation error in Arabic if it is, but it means we shall witness. हम देखेंगे, लाजिम है कि हम देखेंगे वो दिन के जिसका वादा है. We shall witness. It is certain that we too shall witness the day that has been promised, of which has been written on the slate of eternity, when the enormous mountains of tyranny blow away like cotton under our feet, the feet of the oppressed, when the earth will pulsate deafeningly, and on the heads of our rulers, when lightning will strike from the abode of God, when icons of falsehood will be taken out, when we, the faithful, who have been barred out of the sacred places, will be seated on high cushions, when the crowns will be tossed, when the thrones will be brought down, only the name will survive, who cannot be seen but is also present, who is the spectacle and the beholder both. I am the truth. The cry will rise, which is I as well as you. And then God's creation will rule, which is I as well as you. बस नाम रहेगा अल्लाह का, जो मैं भी हूँ और तुम भी हो. Faiz was brilliant when he said, बोल के लब आजाद हैं तेरे, बोल जुबां अब तक तेरी है, बोल के जां अब तक तेरी है, देख के आहन गर की दुकान में तुंग हैं शोले, सुर्ख है आहन, खुलने लगे कुफलों के दहाने, फैला हर एक जंजीर का दामन, बोल ये थोड़ा वक्त बहुत है, जिस्म ज़बां की मौत से पहले, बोल कि सच जिंदा है अब तक, बोल जो कुछ कहना है कह ले. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's amazing. And Faz, Ahmed Faz is always a great inspiration. And the way you read it is phenomenal. I guess he has said that he said this in a very different way, which in Urdu we can say that रंग बातें करें और बातों से खुशबू आए. So I can feel that when you read, it sounds the same, that the color of the wording and impression of your voice combines together, and it makes you a perfect representative of Faz Ahmed Faz. This program we started with the famous writer of India and Pakistan, whose name is Faz Ahmed Faz. And each and every poem words are very expressive or very impactful, and the selection of Asma shows that she has a great passion in her heart. Her heart is has a very cute vacuum which want to create some change in the world. And you will be surprised that we all know that women are emotional. They have better feelings. They can feel better than men, but still you will feel that there are very less writers, females versus male writers. So I guess that the reason to focus on this show as a art and culture is also require us to enlighten or prepare women for future leadership through their written expressions, in terms of a poem, in terms of a book, in terms of on a poem or a novel or any kind of blogs. So I guess that if we will focus on creating a written impression for women in general globally, the more women comes in the writing of their expression. So what we will get is more insight about how a woman think. because a lot of people, they are unaware about true feelings of a woman, because women, they don't express their feelings. They keep things in them. They have a high patience level. They get, if you see most of the women, they have a low blood pressure. And if you see the men, they have a high blood pressure. So the woman by nature keeps things in them, you know. And because also, as a host, I also have a right to read some of the poems. So I also select before I will request Salma to read. So I was going through our British writers, the famous writers, you know. So I was exploring some names, and you will be really surprised that most of them are males. Like for example, the iconic writer of UK, which is world famous, is Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is he has a very high status in the world, and he is the most popular writer of UK. Then we have in 17 William Black, we have Geoffrey in 1300, we have Eliot, we have Tolkien, we have Owen, we have Hardy. These are all men. So what I observed that it is my observation, and you will also feel that we don't encourage women to be a writer. We don't encourage women to be a poetess. We don't encourage women for understanding their emotions and bringing them to the public, because maybe there is a culture to hide their feelings, conversation, which is actually in 2022 is somehow looks weird. Maybe previously it was a culture, so things were like that. But this century is a women's century. We have to prepare women for future leadership, and arts and culture can play a very important role in that. So today, what I choose is a female British writer of UK. She was born in 1830, and 1830 she was born, and in London. So, and she died in 1894. So even 200 years before, you will feel that the feeling of a woman is the same. uh, Woman feeling didn't change, but she didn't get that rights, or you can say a voice that is required. So the Christina Georgina Rossetti is her full name, and her famous book is the Prince's book. You know, she has wrote a lot of books. She has a lot of famous things, and I will share with you the one with the name of Toys. Toys is the name. And you know, it's in some cultures, it's still not acceptable that a woman is talking about her dream boy, dream person. Like if a woman is talking that I'm looking for someone who is, who will come on the horse, will wear this, and will talk to me like I am a princess. These kind of talks still, I mean, in some places, some cultures may not be that way encouraged and recommended, but these are a feeling of a woman. So, in why I see that UK is progressive or America is progressive, because they give the women uh, a right to express themselves. So, in 1800, Christina, she said that I took my heart in my hand, and it said, let me fall or stand, let me live or die. So, but this one, hear me speak, yet a woman's words are weak, you should speak, not I. So in 1800, uh, a woman who is talking about her feeling is really, really impressive. And I guess we need to encourage women more to express their feelings so we can understand women. I will complete it later. So let's go to Salma and ask what is the selection she has made us for today.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, so please go ahead with your
Yeah,
selection.
so I selected two poems. One is Arabic for a famous Syrian born poet. His name is Nizar Qabbani. Nizar was born in Syria. He was a lawyer and diplomat who lived most of his life outside the Arab or Middle East. He was affected in his life by his suicide of his sister, and losing his sister to suicide has a profound effect on him. She suicided to avoid being married, forced marriage to someone she didn't love. So most of his poets were for women and supporting women, or most of his poets. So Qabbani decided to live outside of the Middle East, and he was in London, and he thought that London is a safe haven for him, especially after the Arab-Israeli war in 1967. And he there in London, he had his own publishing company, publishing house at that time in London, and he was a very strong poet, uh, shouting his voice against anything that the Arabs can't talk about. I chose a poet which is called in Arabic تناقضات, uh, نون قاف, which is Nizar Qabbani, which says وما بين حب وحب أحبك أنت، وما بين واحدة ودعتني وواحدة سوف تأتي، أفتش عنك هنا وهناك، كأن الزمان الوحيد زمانك أنت، كأن جميع الوعود تصب بعينيك أنت. فكيف أفسر هذا الشعور الذي يعتريني صباحا ومساء؟ كيف تمرين بالبال مثل الحمامة حين أكون بحضرة أحلى النساء؟ وما بين وعدين وامرأتين، وبين قطار يجيء وآخر يمضي، هنالك 5 دقائق أدعوك فيها لفنجان قهوة قبيل السفر. هناك 5 دقائق بها أطمئن عليك قليلا، وأشكو إليك همومي قليلا، وأشتم فيها الزمان قليلا. هنالك 5 دقائق بها تقلبين حياتي قليلا. فماذا تسمين هذا التشتت، هذا التمزق، هذا العذاب الطويلة؟ وكيف تكون الخيانة حلا، وكيف يكون النفاق جميلا؟ وبين كلام الهوى في جميع اللغات هناك كلام يقال لأجلك أنت، وشعر سيربطه الدارسون بعصرك أنت. وما بين وقت النبيذ ووقت الكتابة يوجد وقت يكون به البحر ممتلئا بالسنابل. وما بين نقطة حبر ونقطة حبر هنالك وقت ننام معا فيه بين الفواصل. وما بين فصل الخريف وفصل الشتاء هنالك فصل أسميه فصل البكاء. تكون به النفس أقرب من أي وقت مضى للسماء، وفي اللحظات التي تتشابه فيها جميع النساء كما تتشابه كل الحروف على الآلة الكاتبة، وتصبح فيها ممارسة الجنس ضربا سريعا على الآلة الكاتبة. وفي اللحظات التي لا مواقف فيها، ولا عشق ولا كره، لا برق لا رعد، لا شعر لا نثر، لا شيء فيها، أسافر خلفك، أدخل كل المطارات، أسأل كل الفنادق عنك، فقد يتصادف أنك فيها. وفي لحظات القنوط، الهبوط، السقوط، الفراغ، الخواء، وفي لحظات انتحار الأماني وموت الرجاء، وفي لحظات التناقض، حين تصير الحبيبات والحب ضد الحبيبات والحب ضدي، وتصبح فيها القصائد ضدي، وتصبح حتى النهود التي بايعتني على العرش ضدي. وفي اللحظات التي أتسكع فيها على طرق الحزن وحدي، أفكر فيك لبضع ثواني، فتغدو حياتي حديقة ورد. وفي اللحظات القليلة حين يفاجئني الشعر دون انتظار، وتصبح فيها الدقائق حبلى بألف انفجار، وتصبح فيها الكتابة فعل انتحار، تطيرين مثل الفراشة بين الدفاتر والإصبعين. فكيف أقاتل 50 عامًا على جبهتين، وكيف أبعثر لحمي على قارة، وكيف أجامل غيرك، وكيف أجالس غيرك، كيف أضاجع غيرك، كيف وأنت مسافرة في عروق اليدين. وبين الجميلات من كل جنس ولون، وبين مئات الوجوه التي أقنعتني وما أقنعتني، وما بين جرح أفتش عنه وجرح يفتش عني، وأفكر في عصرك الذهبي وعصر المانوليا وعصر الشموع وعصر البحور، وأحلم في عصرك الكائن أعظم كل العصور. فماذا تسمين هذا الشعور؟ وكيف أفسر هذا الحضور الغياب، وهذا الغياب الحضور؟ وكيف أكون هنا وأكون هناك؟ وكيف يريدونني أن أراهم وليس على الأرض أنثى سواك؟ أحبك حين أكون حبيب سواك، وأشرب نخبك حين تصاحب امرأة للعشاء، وبعثر ويعطر دوما لساني، فأهتف باسمك حين أنادي عليها، وأشغل نفسي خلال الطعام بدرس التشابه بين خطوط يديك وخطوط يديها، وأشعر أني أقوم بدور المهرج حين أركز الشال الحريري على كتفيها، وأشعر أني أخون الحقيقة حين أقارن بين حنيني إليك وحنيني إليها. فماذا تسمين هذا؟ ازدواجا، سقوطا، هروبا، شذوذا، جنونا؟ وكيف أكون لديك وأزعم أني لديها. This is the end. It's very, I don't know, it's in Arabic, it's so difficult to, like, for non-Arabs to digest it, but it's most about love and being with different women, or meeting many people, and but thinking your mind, your soul, your thoughts is with your real love.
That's amazing. I guess that those who understand Arabic, they are very much able to relate it. And the way you read it, it was so intense and deep that I wish that I should know this Arabic language more in detail, although it's difficult. But it has its own impression, and you have made it so beautiful with your own impression. You It's like you add the spice on it, and it becomes really really memorable. And of course, the people who even don't know Arabic, they will do some Google search and translate and see that your selection is perfectly okay. Um, I will, because we are talking about Arabic, Urdu, so I was just thinking about my feelings and what are my feelings. Um, so, because it's very, you need to link your feelings with your audience, that what you are exactly thinking throughout the month or the years. So I was always thinking, कुछ इश्क था, कुछ इश्क किया, कुछ काम किया. वो लोग बहुत खुशकिस्मत थे जो इश्क को काम समझते थे. या काम से इश्क करते थे. I guess we are not one of them. Either we do work or either we do ishq. There's no balance in between. So Faz Sahab has a very nice balance. कुछ इश्क किया, कुछ काम किया. वो लोग बहुत खुशकिस्मत थे जो इश्क को काम समझते थे ये या काम से इश्क करते थे. हम जीते जी मसरूफ रहे, कुछ इश्क किया, कुछ काम किया. काम इश्क के आड़े आता रहा और इश्क से काम उलझता रहा. फिर आखिर तंग आकर हमने दोनों को ही अधूरा छोड़ दिया. So sometimes you want people should love you, they should like you. You need some positive vibes from the human being. Same time you are busy with your family, with your kids, with your mother, your issues with your financial matters. So you always keep like a pressure cooker who is cooking so many things in your brain. So I guess that when you read something from a writer who is actually talking about the feelings that you have, so you feel very much connected and related, and you feel that you are not alone. There is someone like you in the world who has the same feeling, same circumstances. So that makes arts, literature, culture, films, visual arts very, very important. If we don't have arts around us, our life is very black and white, very, very plain, and maybe it will be very dull also. So let's go to Asma and see what she has the next collection for us.
So you just mentioned a short poem of Faiz about Ishq and Kam, but he also said और भी दुख हैं ज़माने में मोहब्बत के सिवा राहतें और भी हैं.
I always say
So
that मुझसे पहली सी मोहब्बत मेरे महबूब न मांग. I mean, in response to your selection, I always says मुझसे पहली सी मोहब्बत मेरे महबूब न मांग, because this we cannot give it like the old ones. That's for sure. Please go ahead.
okay, some of the verses, um, you know, basically the whole kalam is worth reciting and reading again and again, and each time you read it actually gives you a different flavor, a new rejoice. um, कर रहा था गमे जहां का हिसाब आज तुम याद बेहिसाब आए. There is one more poem which is with me, and I have heard it in Nayara's voice, and she has sung it beautifully. um, तेरे गम को जान की तलाश थी, तेरे गम को जान की तलाश थी, तेरे जान निसार चले गए, तेरी राह में करते थे सर तलब, सरे राह गुजार चले गए, तेरी कज अदाई से हार के शबे इंतजार चली गई, मेरे जब्ते हाल से रूठ कर मेरे गम गुजार चले गए. न सवाल वस्ल, न अर्ज गम, न हिकायतें, न शिकायतें, तेरे अहद में दिलेजार के सभी इख्तियार चले गए. And this verse is really close to my heart. ये हम ही थे जिनके लिबास पर सरे राह सियाही लिखी गई, ये हम ही थे जिनके लिबास पर सरे राह सियाही लिखी गई, यही दाग थे जो सजा के हम सरे बज़ में यार चले गए. Uh, there is one more poem. I don't know if time is allowing, Dr.
Please go
Musa.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, yeah. So it is called Do Ishq. Just give me a second, please. I want to be very, very clear with the pronunciation. Okay. Dr. Musa, if you can give me just 1 minute, I'll just try to retrieve the Urdu text completely so that I can recite, and maybe meanwhile you can continue.
That's great. So let me go to Salma. Salma, your next selection. Can you would you like to share with us?
Yes, sure. My second selection is for Roderick. One second. Rudyard Kipling. Uh, he's an English journalist
Mhm.
and a short story writer. He's a poet and novelist. Excuse me. He was born in British India, which inspired most of his work. I chose his poet, which is called Uh, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing their blaming. Sorry, let me start again. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing their blaming and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired of waiting or being lied about, don't deal with lies. Or being hated, don't give way to hating. And yet, don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make your thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by neighbors to make a trap of fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you make if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose your common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiven minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
Oh,
This is
that's
a very motivational poem by him, which is long time ago, but it's really motivating throughout the centuries. It's one of the most famous poets of.
that's amazing. That's amazing. I can see that this is touching the hearts and very intense. What a lovely selection you have. And let's go to Asma and see what she has for us.
Yeah, thank you. So again, the topic of hope, okay, as what she has selected. Again, talking about motivation. Faiz is also talking about an extreme form of motivation, that एक तर्ज तगाफुल है तो वो उनको मुबारक, एक तर्ज तगाफुल है तो वो उनको मुबारक, एक अर्ज तमन्ना है तो हम करते रहेंगे. Okay. I will now recite his poem, दो इश्क. ताज़ा हैं अभी याद में ऐ साक़िए गुलफ़ाम, वो अक्स रुख़ यार से लहके हुए अय्याम, वो फूल सी खिलती हुई दीदार की साथ, वो दिल सा धड़कता हुआ उम्मीद का हंगाम, उम्मीद कि लो जागा गम दिल का नसीबा, लो शौक की तरसी हुई शब हो गई आखिर, लो डूब गए दर्द के बेख्वाब सितारे, अब चमकेगा बेसब्र निगाहों का मुकद्दर, इस बाम से निकलेगा तेरे हुस्न का खुर्शीद, इस कुंज से फूटेगी किरण रंगे हिना की, इस दर से बहेगा तेरी रफ्तार का सीमाब, इस राह से फैलेगी शफक तेरी कबा की। फिर देखे हैं वो हिजर के तपते हुए दिन भी, जब फिक्र दिलो जा में फुगा भूल गई है, हर शब वो सिया बोझ के दिल बैठ गया है, हर सुबह की लौ तीर सी सीने में लगी है। तन्हाई में क्या क्या न तुझे याद किया है, क्या क्या न दिले जार ने ढूंढी है पनाहें, आंखों से लगाया है कभी दस्त सबा को, डाली है कभी गर्दन मेहताब में बाहें। Now the second part of this poem is about his love for the country. चाहा है उसी रंग में लैलाए वतन को, तड़पा है उसी तौर से दिल उसकी लगन में, ढूंढी है यूं ही शौक ने आसाइश मंजिल, रुखसार के खम में कभी काकुल की शिकन में, इस जाने जहां को भी यूं ही कल्ब नजर ने हंस हंस के सदा दी कभी रो रो के पुकारा, पूरे किए सब हर्फ तमन्ना के तकाजे, हर दर्द को उजियाला हर एक गम को सवारा, वापस नहीं फेरा कोई फरमान जुनू का, तन्हा नहीं लौटी कभी आवाज चर्च की, खैरियत जां राहत तन सेहत दामा, सब भूल गई मसलहतें अहले हवस की। उस राह में जो सब पर गुजरती है वो गुजरी, तन्हा पसे जिंदा कभी रुसवा सरे बाजार, गरजे हैं बहुत शेख सर गोशाए मिंबर, कड़के हैं बहुत अहले हुक्म बरसर दरबार, छोड़ा नहीं गैरों ने कोई नाव के दशनाम, छूटी नहीं अपनों से कोई तर्ज मलामत, इस इश्क ने इस इश्क पे नादिम है मगर दिल, इस इश्क ना उस इश्क पे नादिम है मगर दिल, हर दाग है इस दिल में बजुज दागे निदामत.
Wow, 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 Zabardast. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I guess this is the you have did a great justice with this poem, and you read it so nicely. I guess the soul of Faz Ahmed Faz will be very, very happy with you.
Thank you.
So, because our program is almost in the end, and I will take. I was actually going to finish the program with the writer that I select for my audience, and so I will finish my poem that I started. So previously, I would just recall that I take my heart in my hand. Oh my God, oh my God, my broken heart is in my hand. My hope was written on sand. Oh my God, oh my God. Now let the judge stand. Yeah, judge me now. So, this is the sound of a woman who is an artist, who is into culture, who wants to tell her feelings to the world. Her voice matters. So, with this, I want to encourage all the women. So, think about it. Today, I was lucky enough to have two artistic, full of sense, artistic sense ladies who are co-authors as well. Both of them has contributed to literature and very passionate to contribute to the society with their with be a voice of global women. So join us in this initiative of bringing women in art and culture and share their feelings, performance, and their emotions with the rest of the world. So these their sound can play a positive role with this. And with this, I want to thank my both guests, Salma Al Khubaisi from Abu Dhabi and Asma Jan Muhammad from Dubai. And we will meet in the next episode with new collections, new topics, and new things. Till then, take care of yourself and goodbye.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Thank you very much.